taking their time here on the Mad Lions side. It will be the Misfortune, potentially a Braum to follow.
I mean, if you don't take away the Braum, I think it's going to be a pretty easy Varus Braum rotation, unless Forgiven Dreams don't feel comfortable playing that. But when you see something like a Misfortune come out, you yourself have a Gragas, Varus Braum, Lucian Braum would fit really well here.
And I'm curious to see how well the Gragas perform. Gragas currently is 9-1 in the LEC. That is a 90% win rate. Seems to be the strongest jungler.
Oh, totally forgot Senna. Senna's great.
Forgiven's going to try it again. Now, yesterday was very difficult, but it was obviously a lot of different members coming down to Forgiven's lane to shut him down. But so far, I like what we're seeing from Schalke 04 because we have the Gragas, we have the Braum, and I wonder if Mad Lions are going to be forced to either take or ban the Ornn now that they don't really have any of the conventional options against it.
And if you also don't grab something like Leona here, then pretty screwed, I think, in that bot lane. I think Karzi and Kaiser are just going to have to take the L on that one. Senna and Braum. Senna, for me, is kind of like the top tier of the ADC, just because I think she's versatile with all of the supports that are currently in the rotation, especially around with the Braum. Whereas I think Misfortune really does need that Leo combo to kind of hold her own into the lane phase. So we'll see if Schalke want to try to take that one away.
Second ban phase, Pantheon is going to be the first to hit it. We'll have to see if the bot lane focus we expect to come through will be there, in which solo laners are going to get taken off the table because the final lock-in for the Mad Lions is the Kiana. Now, we expect this to go into the hands of Humanoid, with Elise already confirmed for the jungle, but we've heard rumors of it being more of a flex pick on red side. The Thresh, however, will be the option. And I like this because a lot of the safety for MF is there once you add the Thresh. You know, a pseudo escape for a champion who's otherwise quite immobile. But the Renekton banned away too, so they just are not interested in dealing with the Odoamne power laning phase. And Leona, as you predicted, will be the final ban on the side of Schalke.
Yeah, so it's kind of what power pick are they going to get for the top lane here? You did mention that the Ornn has slipped through, but if you take an Ornn right now with Gangplank still available, I just kind of feel like that's going to be the really easy option.
What we agreed over the course of the break was that Gangplank is a pretty just disgusting champion.
I mean, there's 3 really important top lane picks still available. Something like the Rumble, the Ornn, and the Gangplank are all slipped through the draft phase here. I'd love to see a Rumble.
I honestly would also love to see a Mordekaiser. Anytime there is a Braum on the other side, just Mordekaiser ulting him to take that shield away for the MF ult feels so good.
I think he has to go AD because he's already got a Gragas and a Senna, or the Gragas particularly from the jungle.
True. So that's why we're seeing now the Aatrox come in. Abbedagge has, I believe, played this mid lane last year, but it has pretty much exclusively been top since the nerfs came out. Kind of repeatedly, actually, over the last year. Final option, though, LeBlanc. Seems to be growing in popularity here. Reliable champion that can create a lot of pressure in the mid game.
I mean, you assume that it's going to be Humanoid's Kiana in the mid lane, but one of the big advantages of LeBlanc is just her ability to be blind picked. I expect to see an AP top laner. Rumble, Mordekaiser certainly fits that role, just because you have strong AD in Kiana. If you did go AD top side, you could then look to dive, but it feels like with Kiana and Elise, it should be a lot of focus on the middle lane.
And I gotta say, I would have preferred the Mordekaiser. Really love Mordekaiser ulting a Braum. There's almost no greater feeling in the world. You get a 1v1, you can win. The enemy team no longer has a shield to block your MF ult, but you gotta respect it. The Wombo combo is real. Frostgurn. Yes, Schalke have a Gragas barrel to disrupt it, but I see Rumble ult. I see Kiana ult. I see Misfortune and Rakan, and I guess Elise is there to get them through the early game. She doesn't really contribute past 10 minutes, but all the other champions can blow an entire team up if they group.
I kind of feel like it's given away that when you have a really strong AD mid, you got a really strong AP jungler, they have great CC and setup in Elise, Kiana, that there's just a really big snowball potential there in the top lane, especially when you then also have a Rumble up there who can take care of his own wave management really well. If people try to dive him, he has access to his ultimate, he can just drop that, be really safe. So I think this is all about Humanoid right now.
Have to see, because Humanoid has been a mixed bag, has had a solid performance on Zoe, has had a pretty unfortunate performance on the Mordekaiser. See what version of Humanoid shows up today. Only a single handshake. Head coach to head coach, secondary coach not getting any of that. Gear up for the second game. That's right. Schalke 04 versus Mad Lions, Frostgurn. You said it best. Boomers versus Zoomers. Old names versus new blood. Feels like a quintessential LEC matchup. Some names I never thought I'd see on the stage again. Forgiven coming back. That's all you can ask for. there's a pause. All right. Yeah. Woo! Thank you. As always, Berlin, everyone in the crowd, you're so lovely for cheering during this. Of course, the Kit Kat game pause. A bit unfortunate as we had a few yesterday, but
I can't take any more Kit Kats. They're like my favorite
you know
candy.
it's not part of the deal that you have to eat like 6 Kit Kats every pause.
Every time a break happens,
it's self-inflicted.
the other casters just start jamming Kit Kats down my throat.
All right, well, it's a short break. So a mini Kit Kat break, we'll decide, not the full 4 bars. As we are now getting back into game, we'll pretend that the music just finished and the blah, 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 blah was happening.
Start a skin, Berlin, go!
So we're going. Woo! Yeah! Let's do it! Schalke versus Mad Lions. Boom versus Zoom. Who comes out on top? That's the #1 question. All right, Frostgren. It's Elise versus Gragas. Gragas, most winningest jungler in the league. I think he is hilariously overpowered. Not really overpowered, he's just very strong. Elise, very underwhelming in my eyes, but how does she win this game?
So I want to start with Gragas first.
Okay.
Because Yamato brought up a really good point, and he hasn't gotten to say it yet, so I'm going to say it for him.
Nice.
Credit to Yamato. One of the bigger issues with Gragas is kind of the hump over level 2 that he had to get, because a lot of his power comes from having access to level 3, and then like the setup of the gank potential, his speed through the jungle. And with the jungle changes, especially when he starts blue buff and then immediately into Gromp, obviously with the changes to the experience, buff Gromp gets you very quickly to that level 3. So that's kind of one of the big highlights of Gragas on the current patch in the current like jungle ecosystem.
You just have a lot more flexibility now. Now that Gromp and Krugs are, comparable as opposed to before where you had to go buff Krugs, other buff, and Gragas, while he is pretty good at clearing most camps, couldn't really suffer. But Shadow, a guy that we praised repeatedly for intelligent pathing. We have to see what he can do today, if he can limit some of the options here for Gilius. Maybe Gilius can finally get the ball rolling in one of these early games. For now, it is just the leash on the bottom side. Elise most likely going for the blue buff into the Gromp. We'll have to see where Shadow goes after that.
And of course, both these junglers have really high early gank potential, and they have great setup in both their bot and their mid lanes. I feel like there's a bit more flexibility for Schalke's composition, and that they could also look to gank and set up for that top lane with the Aatrox, especially because Rumble tends to be pushed pretty far forward if he's trying to trade on you aggressively.
Yep. Pretty much has to push there. Ooh, Kaiser getting 3 stacks and cuts of blows, but will not fall any further than that. Obviously a big chance for Forgiven to kind of redeem himself after yesterday's performance. I've been saying redemption a lot today, bear with me, it's my crutch word. But he did have a very rough day. He got absolutely destroyed by Reckless yesterday, and what I thought would be a much closer landing match. But now, today, with the power of Senna, and I think what it looks like the Louis Vuitton skin, maybe, we'll have to see if he can do a little bit more.
Checking in on the jungle pathing again, there was an early ward that was placed on Shadow's Raptor camp. It hasn't spotted him because he actually walked around the buff. It's also quite shallow being placed onto the ramp here. So I even don't think it'll catch him from there. It's now a zombie Poro. Ghost Poro?
Ghost Poro. Yeah, placed from the brush. So, providing a little bit of defensive vision for himself. Gilius just going to continue with the full clear jungle.
And I think with the priority in mid and top, and especially with Gilius taking the time to place a ward there, if possible, he'd like to get access to that crab. Looks like he might go for Raptors and potentially a double crab, depending on if top and mid retain priority there.
For now, focusing clear on this camp. Crab should be next. Will not be spotted out as there is no vision on the bottom side, but in the bottom lane you see a lot of kind of aggressive back and forth trading. Both sides burning to their mana bar quite quickly as Kaiser trying to heal up a little bit there.
Okay, here's one crab. So after Krug, Shadow is either going to look top for the gank. He'll walk through some vision, so it should be fine for Odo to back up. And then he himself can walk down to top river crab. And it's super safe for Shadow to do this because they saw that Abadage exited towards the bottom side of the river when he left the lane, even though he is pushed underneath and trying to trade aggressively with Human Wave.
Just as called, Frostgren. We got to see what's next. Do we see the rumored Elise dive? The double magic damage Elise dive onto the Aatrox? Maybe not yet.
Gilius is changing, or excuse me, Shadow is changing direction actually. Both of them are sprinting towards mid lane. But the thing is both of them will assume that they're backed.
Shadow was spotted. Not sure if they know Gilius is there. Humanoid can walk down to pick up Water Blade, but it's a surefire sign that there is a gank on the way. They're trying to commit to the play. Shadow just threw that cocoon out, trying to predict Abidage's way out, but now Humanoid just leaps face first into death. Is invisible in the grass. Takes over to level 5! He's walking away. He burned the Ignite. What Morato's going to do, but can Shadow turn this one back? He's going to grab it. He's got red buff as well. Can he get the fight with Gilius? Turning it. Barrel's ticking, he's going to walk away. Good 1-for-1. Humanoid almost makes it out, but still a messy exchange.
Oh, that tick over to level 5 was almost exactly what the Mad Lions need right there. It was the fact that Humanoid's wave was building up, so Gilius knows that there's the opportunity to look for the gank here. Humanoid goes for a very aggressive trade that his jungler is kind of waiting in the wings, but it's the fact that Schalke have information that Shadow is there, but Mad didn't have information that Gilius was there.
That was tough. And you gotta respect Shadow for trying to go for the predict on the LeBlanc, but you could just tell the second they're behind in that play, they are not gonna get out with anything better than a 1-for-1. Lucky to get out with as much as they did. Of course, Humanoid gonna grab an assist, but Abidage with the kill. Should put him a little bit up in this lane overall. Level 6 though on the way, can be a big difference for Humanoid.
It is going to be scary, though, that he's now sitting there with no flash across from a LeBlanc and a Gragas that's going to have access to Predator boots. Humanoid's going to have to be really careful with his wave management, and anytime it gets out of hand, Shadow has to cover him.
For now, though, Shadow setting his sights on the Ocean Drake. This is going to help a lot for either side. Honestly, both teams very mana hungry outside of the top lane. Car's now afraid to S04, but Shadow actually taking a lot of damage here, is debating where he needs to go. He can walk into that brush, but he'll walk face first to a level 5 Gilius. Forgiven with no mana left. They just decide they're going to back off here. I like Gilius coming down to support, making sure that his team can back away. And Shadow, sadly, not able to grab the Drake that he wanted to commit for.
Yeah, really ambitious to just try to find a window where maybe Gragas wasn't going to be on that side of the map. Maybe he thought he was just going to go for a power farm and he could slip that one through, but not the case.
No. And now Kaiser just wants clear vision, but Gilius is here to protect it. So far, actually, a pretty solid early game jungle performance from Gilius, not falling behind the clock whatsoever, matching Shadow pretty well to a certain degree, and actually being the first to make it to mid lane initially. Vision will spot him out. Humanoid can run to safety, pushes the LeBlanc back, wants to finish off the kill, but he only gets the clone. Abidage is playing with his food, and Humanoid has overstayed his welcome in that mid lane.
Yeah, just caught out. Did have Kaiser and Shadow waiting in the wings, but he's hit first.
And it's difficult for Humanoid. I feel like we see two sides of Humanoid. He can be very, very good mechanically. He can have those big plays, but he can also just get caught out, overextend, overstay his welcome, and die alone.
I think kind of one of the growing pains with Humanoid is that he can't really lose gracefully. It's as you're saying that when he wins, he can win super hard, and you can see those incredible Kiana performances on him. But when he gets in a situation where an early flash is blown, he doesn't necessarily have the assistance, or it's not quite timed as nicely as it would have, then he gets in trouble. And like here, he can see it coming. He knows that Abidage is fishing for it, tries to turn around the best he can, but unfortunately, it was a 2v1.
Chooses to go for the all-in. Vision does spot out the gank before it can happen here on the bottom side, and Forgiven and Karzi are just trading farm at this point in the game. But a clear lead for Schalke no fear. 600 gold in their favor. Humanoid's lane prio, but I think he's just going to have to use it for a recall here, maybe to clear a ward, because he's running out of mana very quickly.
This is actually hurting Shadow a lot, because he's spending so much time trying to cover Kiana right now. Like, he lost so much time when he started to try to start up the Ocean Drake. That was interrupted. It's now been 2 times where he's had to run towards his mid lane just to kind of cover Humanoid there. He's falling very far behind in terms of experience, level 6, level 5. I'm sure he's going to get level 6 ticked over on kind of this next camp, but you know, Shadow's not getting to be as impactful on the map as he would be because he's stuck with babysitting duty.
Yeah, difficult, because once there's a 2-1 LeBlanc in the game at all, you kind of just have to be on LeBlanc duty.
And it feels like Humanoid at this point is like, you know, if LeBlanc jumps on me, maybe I go for the 1v1, but he's just hard pushing the wave, and he's just looking for opportunities, either to fish around in river, or you can see there, even looking for a potential dive with Shadow. So, you know, Mad are still trying to hunt and look for their options to make plays, just probably not in mid lane.
And they definitely just also have to be very careful because they are playing against a Senna who has ticked over to level 6, and that ult can be huge in any kind of fight, especially 1v1s on the top lane. Something that Arome definitely has to respect, and something you always have to be concerned about if you are going to try to force a dive. It is not a slow traveling Ashe ult. It's a slight delay, and then it's instant shielding, instant damage, huge difference in any kind of early skirmish.
Okay, so first rotation to the Rift Herald is coming out for Mad here because they pulled Kaiser. You can see that Dreams is coming off of spawn right now, so it's going to be about a 20-second delay for Schalke to get here. But because Odawamne has access to the river first, he's got the wave pushing forward, they do manage to force the Mad Lions off of it.
Good spot to be. And I feel like it's feeling very similar to the Excel game that we watched in Game 1, where there's not a massive goal lead for the side of Schalke, but it does feel like they are dictating the pace of the game so far. That might change, though. Sabadage takes the bad side of a trade.
It's important that Forgiven actually walked back to the lane, and Karzi is here. Depending on how much Mad want to force here, they have teleport on both top laners. They could try to either hard force for a monster objective or try to contest something.
So they might just back off, and Mad feeling comfortable. They have the mid-wave pressure. Are just going to start up this Ocean. Vision is there for Dreams, but he doesn't want to step in any further. You have to know that Mad is doing this right now, but not confident enough to step forward. Gilius wanted to get the back off, did not want to look for the fight as he just now finishes the Runic Echoes, and that does mean the Dragon goes over uncontested to the side of Mad Lions.
Yeah, and again, the biggest difference there was the fact that Karzi moved. Forgiven decided to have the wave push into him. If you're a Schalke fan, you're like, it's fine. We say this all the time. It's the first Drake. It's not the end of the world. And if you're a Mad Lion fan, you're like, you'll take what's given to you, and that was handed on a silver platter.
Why not? And I like, too, what we're seeing coming out from Humanoid. It is not the immediate Duskblade, it is the Umbral Glaive, but it does mean he's going to have the power to clear out so much vision as we move later and later into the game.
Sorry, things developing very quickly. So Kaiser has reset. He is not bottom. So again, it's Mad Lions getting the move on their support first, and the fact that the Herald is still warded. But here's the block.
Shadow trying to turn this one. The knockup, can they get it onto Abadagi? He's going to flash out to safety. The charm now going through. Humanoid goes over. Abadagi's going to go down, and now Gilius is in no man's land. The stun, not quite going to connect. They are going to back off, and now Mad, they've just stolen away a Herald, the perfect start, but Gilius wants to turn it back. The flash away. Interesting display of cooldowns there as Mad will grab the Herald.
Yeah, and really well done from Mad Lions, again, to get the early rotation. They're fine to, I was going to say, they're fine to leave Karzi alone because he does have access to the bullet time to clear out any sort of wave to dissuade a possible dive from Forgiven and Dreams, but without access to the Sun ultimate, there's not going to be much he can get. So it's Herald into immediate plates mid. Really good kind of slingshot maneuver from Mad.
Barrel, not going to stop the recall there, and an immediate bit of gold into the back pocket of Humanoid. This is kind of what you want to see on the Qiyana, because this is something we talked about earlier when we were talking about Bevavent. Hey, even if you fall behind, Qiyana is eventually going to do Qiyana things, and here we get to watch some of them.
Yeah, and right now both our mid laners are still doing ridiculous amounts of damage, so kind of feels like all of the early skirmishing in the mid lane completely been neutralized because they both have kill threat. As a good setup by Kaiser there. Flashes over the wall, follows it, and Humanoid is the primary benefactor.
Yeah.
He's got his, what do you call it, the glaive?
Yep.
How do you say the front word?
Umbral.
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 I always want to say umbrage like Harry Potter.
The Umbrage Glaive.
It's one of my favorite new items to come into the game just because I think Vision Denial is so strong, but I'll hold it.
Yeah. Odawamne going for the dive. Arome smartly trying to focus on the wave, but his health bar might be the bigger concern here. Tries to buy a bit more time. They're tanky, but he has it burned. They had to wait for that last auto. Very close, but Abadage will grab the kill.
And we did mention briefly in Champion Select that Rumble can be a fairly decent weak side top laner because of his ability to clear waves with the ultimate. But when you throw 3 people, and one of them being LeBlanc, it didn't quite go as to plan. But here's the cross-map trade. Good heads up from Forgiven and Dreams just to, we don't see where Qiyana is. He can have this one.
Yeah, back off. You don't want the same thing to happen to you that you just saw happen to Rumble on the top side. I like how confident Abadage is to step forward. Ooh, Humanoid not quite going to make it up the wall, but does manage to grab the snare.
Suffering through that name.
Pronunciation is just the struggle today.
I'm having one of those days as well.
It's fine. It's the Umbrage Glaive.
The Umbrage Glaive.
You was just going to say, someone told me, you know?
I think it's cool though because it frees up potentially that you don't necessarily have to go for a sweeper, especially when you're an assassin like Qiyana, having access to that item, because obviously it will help you pick up the wards, like is being displayed right now. Yay! And then you can have an extra slot for either a trinket if you want to hold onto that and play more of a side lane, find some security there, or a blue trinket, which is my preferred one.
Yeah. And I love it too. I think it's such a cool item. I mostly see it on my Pike support. I think is the most common one that you see it on. Obviously not quite as much combat stats as something like a Duskblade, but when you're mostly just waiting on these ultimates for Humanoid, and you want a jungler there too, to try to win, you know, a 2v1 instead of a 1v1, I think it's perfectly fine. And so far, it's already killed a couple of wards, so good investment. Humanoid, I think, trying to bait here into Kaiser, but feels quite telegraphed.
I like how they're playing around the cooldowns. Humanoid kind of saving his dash, waiting for Abadage to distortion in, and then trying to dash away to make sure that the chains don't connect.
Feels like both teams, once again, giving each other a lot of respect here. Last game was a similar story, a bit more controlled in the early game. The mid game was really where it got a bit wild. Kind of waiting to see what Abadage can do once he finishes a full item. Did stop for the Seeker's arm guard on the way instead of completing the Ludens. Makes sense in the matchup, but does limit his power against other champions.
He's gonna have to get out. 3 people rotating, so it looks like Schalke are committing towards the top side of the map, whereas Mad Lions committing towards bot and mid. Schalke are looking for a potential flank.
Clean, controlled game so far. Schalke backing off. Humanoid going to get in and deny a bit of CS here before Abadage can get in. And of course, the Luden's Echo is now completed, so Wonk will need a bit more respect from the side of Humanoid. But we're playing, it's Farmville. We're back in 2015, 2017, not 2017. 2008, that's what I was looking for, not the teens. Farmville was a thing.
I mean, why not? The big winner here is Odawamne, who's just getting to free smack onto this tower, as Rumble was actually moving down mid lane in case his team needed him to participate in that potential Drake.
Here we are, 2 Drakes for Mad Lions. So while it was very strong initially for Schalke, the game has balanced out, and Mad now getting these small advantages in their favor. Once again, Cloud not necessarily the thing you care too much about. Obviously, you care more if you're on the side of Mad because they have so many incredible team fighting alts, but still, the 3 back-to-back Infernals, or the 2 to 4. How many can you get? 6? You can get 5. You get 5 Infernals from us. Is this going to be a 5 Infernal game, is my question.
Right now, though, Schalke had the earlier rotation here set up on the bot lane, so you can see that Gilius was shadowing above Abadage, seeing if you move face check into the brush, possibly looking for a pick. Good respect for Mad Lions not to just go wandering into dark bushes, despite being later out on the map.
And we're hitting that point in the game that I think is difficult for any team that is kind of newly formed. For Mad Lions, a lot of rookies, not as much experience in these kind of stalled out mid-game states. And for Schalke, no fear, this is a team that has a lot of veteran players with a lot of different opinions. We're going to have to see if that experience kind of pays off, if they can be the more decisive team, if they can kind of pull the trigger faster on some of the plays to come. Because that could be a big advantage. Or maybe Humanoid, as kind of the newly minted leader of an otherwise rookie lineup, can make some stuff happen. But there it is, folks. There's a Morellonomicon. Feel free to tweet LS, as many of you will. And that's going to be instantly Gilia's one-shot. Wow! I was about to... Wow, Humanoid took the words I was going to say. Wow, Gilia's having a really solid game, 0-0-3.
So that's
and then
your fault.
Immediately gets one-shot. Yeah, cast or curse.
Yeah, that's the thing about the Kiana there. Is that if she finds anyone, she's probably just going to immediately pop them, which is why I don't. Again, going for the Umbral Glaive, even though it wasn't like something like a Duskblade, which would have a bit more punch to it.
Ooh, Abadage might have bit off a bit more than he could chew. He's now running for his life. The Ignite's going down. Humanoid could dash to a minion here in a second. Forgiven trying to save the day. And now we're starting to see why the Seeker's Arm Guard came out so early. Humanoid almost killing Abadage there.
What I was going to say, though, is that Humanoid has kill pressure on virtually anyone on the map right now. It's not like there's kind of a true tank on any of those champions for Schalke, so he's going to feel really bold to look for those plays as Gilius is looking for revenge.
Humanoid can go invisible in the creep wave, can dash through.
There's no ultimate.
The body slam, how much more time? The knockback, definitely not what Gilius wanted. Taking him out to safety, Abadage's left him. Humanoid, is he gonna get the reset? Is this his highlight moment? The Q through, Gilius! But 1-for-1 in the end, that has to feel bad. Humanoid out of nowhere on a killing spree.
And Humanoid was feeling himself. He held onto his flash that entire time, so he was just trying to pick his moment, wait for it, see how he could get the outplay. He wanted the 2v1 outplay. He preferably, obviously, wanted to kill both of them there. But he could have walked away.
I have never seen more gold thrown at a single player than in that moment. Difficult series of plays for Schalke, and Humanoid is just feeling happy. We talked about it. Umbral Glaive, maybe not the most damage, but you know, when you kill like 3 people back-to-back and you go on a killing spree, you just kind of have enough money to come back with that damage that you were missing.
Directly into Ghostblade. He's zipping around the map. He can do exactly what he just did, but much faster.
And
Here we go.
This is where we see, what you'll notice is that the cask is kind of where things go wrong here.
Yeah, I tried to dodge it with the little fling there. But again, he has flash, so maybe you can make the argument that when he goes back and he looks at this, he's like, I had the flash, how do I actually make the outplay? Maybe he flashes the cask damage.
Oh, maybe. But I mean, I'm going to be honest. When you're talking to me about what could he have done to win the 2v1 so decisively, and it's as simple of an answer as flash, I start to worry for Schalke.
It was the fact that it felt like he was really just testing his limits there.
Yeah, I felt like early laning phase, Schalke definitely had a firmer grip on this game. Gilius going where he needed to go, interrupting some of those early ganks, but now the game has evened out in terms of the kill score, but it is a 2K gold lead to the side of the Mad Lions. And we're no longer in that point where Humanoid struggles, Frostgren, where he's behind in lane and he can't make those flashy plays because he is very far ahead.
I mean, to be frank, after kind of like the initial flash was burned, he's been feeling pretty confident in the lane phase. It was just kind of a matter of, did Abadage land the chains and then immediately kind of distortion back? And if the answer was yes or no, how much damage was Humanoid going to do to him in return there? And now it's just been amplified to the rest of the map since we're finished with the paint by numbers stage of League of Legends. Towers have fallen. We now get to be more Picasso-esque.
I like it. It's a little bit like chess, where like if you want to learn and get good at chess, you memorize like the same first 10, 15 opening moves, but then at move 20, it's like a completely different game and you have no idea what's going on. Oh, Doggy goes in. Quick flash over from Karzi. Well played. And now the Dragon has to be next on the list. Mad Lions happy to get that Infernal. Schalke seeing this as their opportunity to force a fight.
This is really scary for Schalke about how they're going to approach into. They have to have the perfect team fight because you're fighting against level 13, so 2 points in the ult rumble. That ultimate alone could be devastating on top of how strong Humanoid is.
Dragon has gone down. Odoamne going to use the ult. They're on the retreat now. So they wanted to see the Infernal Dragon die. They didn't trust the notification on their screen, but they didn't want to contest it.
And you mentioned the word kind of like decisiveness, if the veteranship of Schalke would translate into kind of some decisive map calls. You had the opportunity there for Schalke that maybe they try to rush towards the mid lane tower. You are concerned about a potential flank, but with the Gragas from Gilius, you could reset any sort of flank that comes at you from the Mad Lions if they start flying out of that bottom river. But like you said, Schalke just didn't really decide what they were going to do. Are they going to fight for the Infernal? Are they going to try to force the mid lane tower? And they just kind of watched both happen.
It's difficult. The split decisions are where we see so many teams, regardless of how long they've been playing, really crumble. This one, of course, overall, still relatively low stakes. Sadly for Shadow, the Ripchild was about to expire, so he was forced to use it on the top side. It's out of the realm of... Oh! Doggy not getting much done there. Past the point where it'd get tower plate, so it's not hugely consequential, but it will provide a bit of a pressure point as Odoamne walks it in.
He's just going for a walkabout.
Wow.
They're all running up here.
The Rift Herald auto attack animation, so rarely seen. And Abadage is getting strong. We saw last game what can happen when a LeBlanc gets very strong. Abadage definitely at that point now. But Abadage may not respect the fact that Shadow is just waiting to kill him.
All members except for Karzi are up on the top side.
Here we go, Kaiser on the way in. Abadage gonna need to be smart about how he dodges out of this one, or he'll just walk away. Kaiser falling a bit short there. Humanoid with a big knockup is going to find 3. Hitbox a bit questionable. Does manage to connect. And now both teams are just backing off again, testing the waters. Humanoid clearly fishing, looking for a play, looking for a weak enough member that he can one-shot. But without the ult, it will be a tough ask.
But that's a better wave position because, yeah, Karzi didn't immediately join there, but he did force that wave in. I don't think they'll get the tower, but very, very close.
Ooh, very close.
Yikes.
Gragas just rolling by that one. Yeah, is right, Frostgren. How are you feeling about this game right now? How are you feeling? What have you learned about both these teams?
I feel like we've been just kind of shoving some waves back and forth to each other.
Yeah.
We can't really decide where we want to fight. Both of our mid laners have assassination potential.
And they have, as you can see in the damage graph, assassinated some people. 8,000 to 8,000 in terms of damage, although a bit more in the favor of Humanoid. Well, and the good news for Matt is, like, I don't really feel like they're under a huge amount of pressure to do anything. Odoamne going to try to commit to the play here, but Shadow's on the way. And Shadow shadowing Humanoid has been very good, but Humanoid now over-committing That's not what you want to see. Well, the make or break play may have just happened right before our eyes as Shadow has to run for his life. Dunked down by Otawamne. Topside tower will fall in favor of Mad Lions, but a double kill goes through for the Aatrox.
The only unfortunate thing is that there's nothing for them to immediately translate into. If Carzzy really does feel pressured on this wave, you still have access to the bullet time. Oh, as I say that, they're like, Shadow's dead, rush the Baron.
I like it.
Schalke now being very decisive.
Ooh, it's on Abadage, though, to kind of try to disrupt this, because they have Rumble ult, MF ult, so you can't realistically sit in the pit for too long. Kaiser half health. Keep your eyes on that LeBlanc ulti cooldown. That might just be Carzzy's, or rather Kaiser's death. Abadage still stepping forward, still poking. 10k health, Baron getting lower, wards going over the wall. They have a vague idea of what's happening. It'll be a big Rumble ulti, but it's just helping him kill the Baron a bit faster. Actually, barely touching it. Otawamne wants to finish it out.
Shadow's alive.
Humanoid on the way in. 5k health. They don't want to finish the Baron. They're going to back off. Well held by the side of Mad, and Schalke going to feel bad. They could have definitely taken the mid lane tower. Instead, they tried to go for the Baron play, and they're not going to get it.
Okay, we're going to take another look at this one. It's the fact that Humanoid and Shadow are just fishing for an assassination out onto the side lane, but it's Schalke that get to the play first. Forgiven with a nice little shield there. Some heals to follow it up with the Senna. The big thing for me, though, was the reset that happened after the initial Baron, and I'm actually going to quickly check to see what happened.
All right, as we look through this replay, come back to live state. Mad feeling empowered. Yes, a bit of a difficult game there, but they are back onto the map. We'll see what objectives they can take. And don't forget, folks, Alienware Match of the Week is Game 5. G2 versus Origin 2, currently undefeated teams. Who will come out on top? Find out later today.
So the concern that I had is that after Schalke had expended so much time into the Baron, they would have to reset, and then Mad would have all members out on the map. So what would Mad set up while Schalke were resetting from their very bold Baron? And it's trying to set up for this Infernal. Schalke have done a great job, though, actually shoving out the waves and getting control over this Dragon. So even though Schalke kind of gave Mad the tempo advantage first play onto the map, they've been very well to kind of put their feet back into this position here.
Oh, but here we go. Kaiser trying to run in, but the snare does manage to connect, and he just brings it right into the backside of his team. Big ult comes in from Forgiven. Gonna offer some shielding, but not a whole lot of damage. Shadow now flashing out to safety. They're trying to find the chase. Gilius knocking back Arome. Fishing on the cask. Uses the flash as well. The knockback not going to matter, though. Flashing out of the way before anything can get done. Arome throwing out the ult too, but there's no follow-up. They're burning all of their major combat tools, just trying to chip away at the health bars of Schalke. Abadage is still alive and well. Arome trying to buy time, but there's the knock, but they found Forgiven at the backside, and that might just be enough. Carzzy flashing through the team to get the job done. They are going to take him down to the end, but that's the shutdown. Shadow now pushing forward. Arome still alive, but Schalke are tearing through them. Oh man, Otawamne is destroying them in this fight. Abadage just chasing them down. The Infernal will fall in favor of Schalke.
And I feel like a big issue is where the supreme display of talent was actually used. We'll try to follow it in the replay. If I'm correct, I think he actually just burned it around Pixel Brush.
He burned it around Pixel Brush. If he had hit someone, they would have been knocked back to the wall, I believe, and then the stun would have gone through. But because they flashed, no one was pushed, and nothing happened.
And obviously, when you're about to fight in a dragon and a big key, ultimate like that doesn't hit.
Just actually doesn't do anything.
Yeah, I thought he was just mowing the lawn with it.
Yikes. Here we go, and this is kind of where, if you're me, you're like, oh wow, Mad are going to destroy this fight. You're looking at Carzzy. You're like, look at this confident on him, flash through, doesn't want to fight him. But then Gilius is here. Quick body slam, easy pickup. Kaiser's burned all his cooldowns. Humanoid's burned all his cooldowns, and Schalke have survived the initial onslaught and could just clean up this fight.
And in the back half of the replay, not only did Schalke clean up the fight, but they also then pushed down that mid tower. So it feels like it was a quiet game again, but it's really been kind of the difference between the top laners, just like what we saw in the previous game, where Expect on the gangplank kind of got to farm it up, then started popping people. Now Otawamne feeling very happy and healthy on this Aatrox.
Well, it just has so much resistance to any kind of damage that the Rumble's going to do, and the sustain really carrying him through the majority of the burst from the AD champions. But now, Frostcurrent, you talked about scaling, Forgiven, getting stronger, getting more scary. 0-3, this team started the split with the potential to move to 1-3 and drag Mad Lions down with them.
I just feel like this is going to be really difficult for Mad to play out unless Humanoid can be the hero and really decide the fight with a key ultimate.
Otawamne wants to be the hero on the opposite side, though, knocking Arome up. Ulti comes in from Forgiven, feels a bit early. Gilius?
I love that Gilius is just playing like Nuke Gragas. This isn't about like resets or defending his center or anything like this. Gilius is just like throwing out barrels as soon as they're off cooldown.
The call has to be poke them because everyone of Forgiven's ult and everyone of Gilius' ult is not to finish anyone off. He's disrupting the fight. He's creating space. Frostcrone.
I'd say that they're actually playing it really slow. Like, they're throwing out a lot of cooldowns, but it feels like the slower that a team fight is played, the Senna team is really winning out here, because as long as you survive kind of the initial Kiana ultimate, Schalke's just coming up heads in these team fights, and then you have, you know, multiple rotations of LeBlanc through massive nuking spells, so... Feels like, again, if you're seeing a really slow team fight, multiple rotations, that it's probably Schalke that win out there.
Definitely the case. Senna Q and any kind of front-to-back team fight obviously just continuously adding more value. Only around 45 souls for Forgiven currently, so not quite at the 60 point where he'd like to be for a bit of extra range, but still just going to continue to stack up and scale up, as you mentioned. And Abadage walking in the darkness, wants to delete Shadow. They've spotted him out. There's no way he gets out of this one. Instantly dies. Schalke with perfect access now to the Baron Pit. Ooh, Odoamne does not just want one.
Might as well see what they can clean out, as Gilius is also cleaning out all the vision in the pit. So now Schalke know that as soon as they get control over this wave, they continue to try to force Mad Lions to play around them in the Baron, knowing that Mad Lions are blind, will have to approach the pit to at least place down vision.
Mad Lions instead are just going to focus on forcing this mid lane. They can get flanked here, but Schalke have to be very careful. Standing next to the wall can be a death sentence. Abadage just trying to chip away. Dreams flashing forward. They have to walk through the Rumble to find it, but they might not even need to. Bramall baiting out the MFL. Now they feel like it's time to re-engage. Gilius on a killing spree. Just clean play from Schalke, waiting out these major cooldowns. Not that clean, though, if Gilius goes down here in a second. Has to flash away. Humanoid, though, no, is going to be able to make it up to safety. Did not overstay his welcome.
Everyone needs to reset after that fight. It feels like we've fight after fight, and it's not, you know, rotating into a Baron or changing into a tower. But it is really just a lot of this kill gold and some of these big summoners. Taking another look at this one, you already called out Dreams with the Braum wall, and then very well timed from Gilius as soon as Rumble comes out of the stopwatch to, again, from the 3-point line, just dunk on him.
So much damage. I mean, he went Morello second.
Hey, a lot of Morellos in this game. There's a lot of books.
Reading up. Forgiven, though, runs for the hills. That ability is so powerful, so obnoxious to play against, so hard to actually start a fight against the Senna. But Baron, of course, still on the table. 23 seconds until the Infernal Drake, but you can see Baron not in the sights of the Mad Lions. They would rather have that Drake instead, knowing that the Soul is going to be a big difference in the fights to come. However, with the vision, it looks like they might be looking for a pick. Going to force the TP out from Odoamne as he completes the Death's Dance. This is one scary Aatrox.
Still feel like it's opening up team fights, though, with Abadage, who's really scary. Gilius doing a good job. I assume he's trying to scout for Humanoid, because that's the...
That's the way that they win a fight at this point, is the big fat Kiana ult.
That's the win condition for Mad Lions. Yeah.
Oh, they've been caught in the pinch, though. Abadage is coming over the wall. Where's Humanoid going to go now? Big ult comes in for Forgiven. Shadow taking it in, but now they're fighting in the pinch. Humanoid has to be careful here. He's going to go and he's going to get the ult. That's going to be the bullet time. It might just be enough, but the knockback is there. Humanoid flashes out to safety. Abadage now on the hunt. He's locked him up. Humanoid going to go over the wall. Forgiven trying to chase him. Abadage goes in, and Humanoid goes down. Forgiven grabs the kill.
And you saw it there, that's kind of what Mad Lions were fishing for. Not necessarily the perfect scenario, but one where you get to use the Kiana ultimate in tandem with the Misfortune ultimate, but it's just really not enough for how spread out these fights are, for how mobile Schalke's composition is. This LeBlanc is in absolute terror in tandem with this Aatrox.
And it's really just going to get harder from this point on, because the Aatrox is getting more and more AD from these Infernals. The Gragas, who's building pure AP, is already, you know, half-healthing your Rumble with a single ult. Does not get easier from here.
I just feel like there was kind of the 1 to 2 item window that Mad really needed to take advantage of with their composition and with the champions that they had. And now that that window has closed, that Schalke just have the scaling potential. And so it just gets infinitely harder for Mad to try to out-execute here.
Yeah. And the Braum is just such a problem in these fights, too, because it just mitigates so much of what they want to do, so much of their follow-up. And sadly, the Rumble doesn't even have a Leandries yet, realistically, now building towards that item now, so not quite as much damage as they'd like in these team fights from this, you know, kind of theory-crafted Wombo combo initial set of bursts. But Humanoid gonna run right forward there. Abadage checks. But all of Schalke very fearless to just walk forward and dare Mad to commit.
And they also have a lot of really good tools to check Fog of War there with things like the Braum Q as well as a Gragas cast. So we're fighting over mid lane position again.
Yep. Schalke though can just walk up. Currently Mad looking to collapse onto Odoamne. Maybe this pick can be enough. Shrelia's used. Odoamne now has to run. Ulti being used by Kaiser. Mad just barreling down the mid lane. Wow. Abadage on the top side can't get anything done. Clean play coming from the side of Mad. If they can get out without losing anyone, that's just a free tower.
Yeah, and that was some of Schalke's indecision. And both teams haven't been flawless in their decision making. It was that time around that Schalke, you know, disengaged towards the top side of the map. Maybe thought that they could get a flank, but the speed that Mad just fly down this lane.
This could be the flank.
Look at Humanoid.
Abadage goes over the wall, will not connect. Holding onto the ultimate for now. They have to be careful about fighting this pinch. Gillies is coming, channeling the Predator. Ready to go. They walk in here. They get multi-hit by the cast. The fight could just end in an instant. It will just push Arome out to safety. Shadow.
Here we go.
Going to be sacrificed. The knockup is there. Bullet time comes in. Just chipping away at Odoamne, though. Not a lot of damage there.
Too early with the cooldown from Karzi. He flashed very early on in the fight. I think he was just trying to find the right position. He thought that Schalke were going to funnel into a choke point, and that might be his moment for the bullet time. But again, Schalke, for their not necessarily the cleanest decision-making in terms of their map movements, how they are playing up the team fight slowly, being very conscious of key ultimates like the Qiyana, like the Misfortune ultimate, has really saved this game for them.
And I have to say, Schalke trading ult for ult is a purely good deal for Schalke. Mad absolutely need their ultimates to win a fight. Shadow is dead! Wow! Block damage coming through. That is what Abadage's been fishing for all game. Repel not fast enough this time for Shadow.
That's just the Schalke composition at this point, and the options that they have. Who's gonna fall for the trap? Just push down mid, maybe? Oh, scary.
Walking into the darkness. Rumble no ulti available. Humanoid looks like he's got his up.
Check with Rumble ult.
Going through. Baron been started. I think a bit over eager from the side of Schalke because the four members that make the Wombo combo are still here, but it's Odoamne on the flank. The knockup, the disengage is there. Humanoid going to stun multiple members. Gragas incredibly low now. Odoamne has overstayed and overcommitted in the front line. Karzi, here comes the bullet time. Can he get it? But Gillius with a massive cast. Rumble tries to rain down fire from the sky, but it might not be enough. Or is it? Mad Lions turning the fight right back. A heroic performance. A triple kill for Humanoid, and it should be a Baron for Mad.
And from the brink of defeat there, the Mad Lions, very scrappy fight, managed to get this one back. Shout out to multiple members. Kaiser and Humanoid in particular. We'll get another look at the team fight there. I'm sure that there were more people who were pulling their weight, but this Rakan is really doing a lot of work this game.
I gotta say, Kaiser and Karzi, the damage as well, didn't appreciate it, but over the course of the fight, just getting so much work done. I honestly can't wait to see the replay, because it did not look winnable when Odoamne didn't die after that initial battle.
Okay, so what goes wrong here? I know that Humanoid does get access into the backline, so Odo goes for the flank. Humanoid, he has to use the ult defensively, then walks into Fog of War and kind of waits his moment and then flashes into the backline. Well, not flashes, but dashes into the backline. Yep, there's one.
Ulted, but not dead. Still managed to get the Q. Still managed to auto, it looks like 3 more times, 4, 5? Almost 5 more times before he goes down. And that's all it took. That with Humanoid coming over the wall is everything that you need to win a fight. They have to one-shot Karzi.
Yeah, Humanoid, and I know this is like small things, but it is something to take note of as these team fights are happening. Humanoid and Kaiser both got into Fog of War, where Schalke didn't have vision, lost track about where the Qiyana and the Rakan were, and Qiyana manages to assassinate 2 people, and Kaiser, yeah, the fight was already lost for Schalke there, but did manage to kind of turn around and knock up 2 people in tandem. So Schalke just need to be a bit more aware about fighting on their vision.
But here we go. Gillius instantly just deleted. They want this. They're going to get a Dragon Soul going down. Abadage trying to turn something back, but now Mad are on the hunt. They have control, and they're not going to give it up. Humanoid chasing forward, has the ultimate available. Schalke has to be careful about this retreat. Very good to just instantly one-shot the Gragas there in that play.
And the thing is anytime, so the tables have now shifted to whatever team kind of gets to an area first and gets vision control over it, because of LeBlanc and Qiyana at this point, it's just like hard winning these fights because they just come in and they immediately delete someone. And the fights are so scrappy and so messy, like you are not getting to see the perfect execution that either team composition wants. It is literally just does Abadage or Humanoid press their buttons first or find their target first?
Ooh, Humanoid, though, getting a little bit risky here, trying to go back. Now going to be in trouble, forced to flash away as the redemption comes through. But meanwhile, mid lane is breaking. Forgiven is burning. As Rumble ult is used, they're just buying space. They're just buying time. Clearing out mid lane, now shifting their attention to bot lane as another wave will crash in. Cocoon does land. Doesn't look to fall upstairs quite yet. Schalke holding on for now, but they're just stalling for the cannon minions on the side of Mad. They will break this one down. Kaiser forced to dash out of safety, but honestly, Schalke just don't really have the tools right now to kick this one off. Ooh, Abadage, though, once again, rinse and repeat. If it worked once, why not try it again? Instantly dead, Elise.
That feels like this entire game, though. It's Abadage doing that, or it's Humanoid doing that. And whoever gets to do it more, that's who's going to win. That's what this has come down to. There has been some very interesting dance maneuvers around mid lane for this game.
Yeah. Some say that they're still looking for a flank.
This is a tango between LeBlanc and Qiyana. Qiyana's got GA, though, so...
An extra life.
She's ready to dance.
Abadage has a lot of damage. She's got the Void Staff and the Death Cap, and you can see this. It's been an emotional roller coaster. And similar to a roller coaster, the differences started out very small, insignificant. But then as we get to that moment where the team fight goes entirely bad, just like a roller coaster, gets hype, comes right back down. Wow. This game is a mess, Frosco.
Yeah, but all Schalke need to do is, again, kind of go back to the basics, play it very slow. As long as you survive the Rumble ultimate, you survive the Misfortune ultimate, you don't get locked up by Qiyana, then you just kind of roll through the fight. You have to Senna to keep you really healthy. You can disengage with Gragas, but it's the fact that Gilius is like only looking for
the big play.
Like the offensive double kill with the Gragas barrel.
And the question is, does he need to do that at all? Humanoid, though. Now running down. They see Humanoid split from the fight, though. They think this is their opportunity. Carzzy going to take a decent amount of damage. Odoamne trying to dunk down on the Shadow, but he will not find it. The Braum ult as well as the Rumble. Odoamne now running for the hills. Humanoid on the way in. Bullet time. Not quite enough, but Schalke low priority in the mid lane now for Mad. They can just run in. But
that's 2 ultimates. You still have the supreme display of talent. So now Schalke have a very small window to get back, heal up, and then try to find Mad. Mad are like, it's not worth it. We're down key ultimate, so let's just try to go for the tower here. We're fighting in between monster objectives.
Now we're getting later and later in the game, cooldown reduction coming in, so it's going to be smaller and smaller window of opportunities to punish when ults are down. But another tower dropping for the side of Mad, and now that Mad are in control, it feels like so much a more slow, more calculated team as before they had to take so many risks just to get control back.
Is it slow and calculated? Because to me it looks just very, very scrappy.
I mean, it is very scrappy, right? But clearly they're not over-committing. Whereas earlier in the game it was like, guys, if we don't get the wombo combo, we instantly lose. Now it's like, guys, we don't have ults. We can back off.
This is like so much hit and run League of Legends. Like,
yeah, this is the GTA of League of Legends. Like, Gilius was just driving his car next to that Baron pit. They're like, what are they doing? And they just yank him out. It's not allowed. Oh.
I've played GTA online, and it does feel like this at points. Where you're like, this isn't how this is supposed to work, and none of this is fun.
The RP player's like, what are you doing? We're pretending to be cops right now. And as we have lost the plot, so too does it feel that our teams have.
No, we very clearly know what the teams really want to do.
Win the game.
Just the amount of times I've seen blue team engage from behind red team in this mid lane has been far too many this game.
Oh, here we go. I said here we go, like something's gonna happen. Senna E, potentially heralding the start of a fight. Mad also running at Schalke. Infernal Drake up in a minute. Baron up now.
Okay, eyes on Humanoid. There's like 0 flanking wards from Schalke.
Or Abadage. Who one-shots first? It's like a game of tag, and Humanoid and Abadage are it.
Everyone else is simply fodder.
Everyone else is just running.
Just maybe run up mid. Don't walk in there. It's dark and scary.
Barrel. Cleverly sidestepped by Kaiser as he sets up his big moment. Here we go. He's going to Shurelya's. Never mind. He's going to hit the ward. They're chasing. Kaiser's getting frisky. Odoamne's poking. Humanoid, if he gets pulled back, might be dead. Dreams is fishing with the ultimate. Arome caught out, but Carzzy waiting over the wall.
Someone go to a side lane. Someone get out of here.
Call this the NALCS preview. Am I right?
We're just warming them up. Okay, Humanoid very deep behind them. Okay, he's lured them in. He's looking to go over the wall. Can he get it?
4K health. Gilius, his chance for redemption. The barrel over the wall. The knockups, they're not going to let him have it. Humanoid buying a bit more time, and down comes a rain of fire. Orome and the rest of Mad Lions walk away with the Baron, and they might walk away with a few kills as well. Here comes a big bullet time. Flash into melee range of an Aatrox. Now that's a play with style. Well done, Carzy and the Mad Lions.
Oh, and in the back of that fight, Abatage goes in and immediately gets deleted. He tried to blow some people up, the fight got split, and now Mad Lions have finally done it. We looked at each other for about 15 minutes in that mid lane, but
we're cycling through analogies. It's GTA, it's Animal Planet, it's a game of tag, but at the end of the day, it's a game of League of Legends, and Mad Lions have come out on top. Just took a little bit of decision for a long time, yeah.
Big smile on Shadow's face right there.